One thing that wrestling is lacking right now is storylines and characters. And that just made me think, man. Back in the day, there was a guy called Brad Maddox, and he was fucking awesome. Because he came in during a time when there were already a lot of neckbeards who were around and they were talking about real wrestling. So because of that, Brad Maddox wasn't really appreciated, but I thought he was a very engaging character, an on-screen character, right? For those of you who don't know, for those of you a little too young here, I'll tell you what this person was. CM Punk was the fucking WWE champion, and he and Ryback were having a Hell in a Cell match. CM Punk was the heel, and the match ended with the ref low-blowing Ryback when he was about to win, and then CM Punk basically just did a roll-up pin and won the match, or he did something, but because of the interference, he won the match. That referee now was Brad Maddox. Next week on Raw, he came out and he told everybody that he's a referee who wanted to be a wrestler, but he couldn't be a wrestler because he just wasn't good enough. Because he wanted some attention, because he wanted to be somebody, he decided to do what he did. He wanted some eyeballs on him. So of course, CM Punk being the heel, he bought him out. But why would anybody risk their job, their well-paying job in WWE for, I don't know, just a bit of cash from CM Punk? You know what I mean? It didn't make any sense like that. But when he said that this is the fucking backstory, man, I wanted people to notice me, it made sense. And I loved this storyline, man. One of the reasons is because this is a very realistic storyline. Think about it. A lot of storylines, a lot of characters in wrestling, they're a bit over the top. Goldust is fucking over the top. Fandango was over the top as well. Right now we have Kid Wilson, he's kind of over the top. Like, his entire gimmick, realistically, man, it doesn't make any sense. It's entertaining to watch on screen. I think it's gonna get stale really quickly if I'm being honest, but it's still entertaining for what it is. But Brad Maddox was a guy, his gimmick was basically a referee who's just not good enough to be a wrestler. So he wanted to do something to get attention, which he did. Now everybody hates him for that. I think that was fucking outstanding, man. I think that was fucking outstanding. It was realistic, grounded, and still engaging. Whoever came up with that idea, most likely it was Vince McMahon if you're being honest. But whoever it was, man, that person was a fucking genius. I really think that Brad Maddox should have been, I don't know, at that time we used to have two titles, right? So the WWE title and the world title. I think he should have been the world champion at some point, man. Like, with the help of interferences and stuff, because his entire gimmick was that he's just not good enough to be a wrestler. But despite that, he can still wrestle a little bit. So what happened was that whenever he was fighting somebody, he was basically shown as a complete noob. Like, he can't do anything. Maybe he could have done like a little bit, because he tried to be a wrestler. So it would make sense if he can do some moves. But he couldn't do anything, and that just didn't make any sense to me. So if he could do some moves, right, and then he has a lot of interference because he joined the Authority afterwards as well. So I think he could have been a really, really good heel world champion. Now, of course, the fucking neckbeards and the marks would have hated him because they would have been like, oh, we want to see Gunther. Gunther should be world champion, man, because the ring is sacred, or some nonsense like that. They don't understand, man. Nobody understands nowadays that we need some storylines. We need some characters. What's Gunther's character, man? That he's the ring general? What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck is that shit, man? It doesn't mean anything. There is nothing to it. If he wasn't the fucking ring general, so what? What's gonna change about his entire presentation if he stopped calling himself the ring general? Nothing, man. Nothing's gonna change, and that's what I'm trying to point out. There is nothing to anybody nowadays. Anybody, Randy Orton, LA Knight, even Cody Rhodes, there is nothing to anybody. It's for a very simple reason, man. People have forgotten, I think, how to write stories. They've just forgotten about it. They have no idea. Vince McMahon, people say he was out of touch, man. As if, buddy. As if. Then who is in touch? You? Who is in touch, man? It's not you. Probably in touch with your dick or some shit, but that's about it. That guy, till the very end, was trying to write storylines, man. Some of them were not very good. There was one storyline in 2021, I think it was, or maybe 2020, I can't remember, but there was a storyline between Sheamus and Jeff Hardy where Sheamus was accusing Jeff Hardy of still being an addict. It's not a good storyline in my opinion. I don't think it was a fun storyline to watch, but it's still something, There is something going on instead of, hey, guy A and guy B, let's have a match, let's see who's gonna win. That's nonsensical. That's lazy. And that's my problem, man. I think Brad Maddox was a great character because of that reason. I think there was some points where he got fired and then he actually just never came back. I was actually a bit sad, man, because he was entertaining to watch. And Vince McMahon also liked him. And as I've said before, when Vince McMahon likes you, something was done right. It's just that simple. Something was done right, you know? If you don't believe me, just look at Dwayne Johnson. Vince McMahon made him the biggest star in his company, and then that guy, the same fucking guy, went on to become the biggest fucking superstar in Hollywood. So, that should prove it, man. If it was somebody who was the biggest star in the company, but then he failed in Hollywood, you could have made an argument, man, that, you know, these guys, they can last in wrestling, but not outside of it. But that's not the case. We have seen this multiple times. John Cena, Batista. This has happened multiple times, man. It's not just once. So, the point has been made, man. That guy saw something in him, and he was entertaining to watch. And that's what we are lacking today. Entertaining people. There is nobody who's entertaining, and that needs to change.